It's Saturday, which means it's time for another episode of Any Given Saturday. Today, we're talking about HBO's new series, Westworld, and playing another round of Versus.
Dig our theme music, don't you?
I do.
We like
This
pirates.
is good. Who'd you steal this from? I'm kidding.
We actually created it.
Oh, okay.
It's legitimate. There's no. There's no
I see the
stealing.
horn section over there. Never
Yes,
mind.
yes, there they are. Hello.
Okay, yes, okay.
Brass, bring it up some more. Drums, take it down.
Legit. Everybody take their last swig. It's like
Last one out of this
everybody
bottle.
went real quick. It's like,
Okay.
all right. That's good. All right, welcome to Any Given Sunday. Saturday. God.
You did it again!
Sorry. I think you should just do it on purpose.
Well,
Every time.
Absolutely.
I think I've only got it right once.
Then
Yeah.
stop
Maybe
fighting it.
Maybe
One
we
of these
should-
days, he's going to say Wednesday. I'm just like, what?
Well, yeah.
All right.
We should just record on Sundays.
I see how you're playing this.
Saturdays don't work no more. Anyway, this is the show that provides the fan and critic point of view each week. I guess I missed that. I was looking at you taking a swig, and I thought in my head,
want one of those.
I was thinking, hey, that sounds
beer's
good.
too distracting. We can't drink it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, this show, we bring ridiculous banter about movies, TVs, books, games, web, and anything pop culture. I'm the fan in the equation, Dan Powers, and I'm joined each week by... Who wrote this?
I
Who
got
wrote
you.
this? She changed it up. I've already messed this thing up like 5 times, so...
And again, why you don't want a script.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure I
Can't cold read.
I just want to make sure we have an opening, because otherwise, what I've found in the past, if I don't write it down, I just won't even say my name, and then we end recording. I'm like, did I say anybody's name?
You're like, I'm Steve?
Well, we're sitting with Her Royal Majesty, the Queen of Critics, Bailey Hemphill. Hemphill.
Something.
Bales of hemp.
No, he the last couple times kept calling me Critic Mastermind, and I was like, I'm going to mess it up on him this time and just get him to say something completely different.
There you go. Very good.
Well, you could tell I didn't prep. I didn't read it ahead of time.
I knew you wouldn't, so that's why I snuck that in there.
I didn't read it ahead of time.
Got
dandy.
it.
Well, anyway, this week we'd like to welcome our special guest to our show, JT from Omaha and Council Bluffs. Am I supposed to say Council Bluffs?
That's only a legal ID. If you need to, you don't need to do it here.
Wink.
All right. So JT from Omaha, Q98.5.
Yeah, sure. That's it.
Sure. I'd like Omaha and Council Bluffs.
Legal ID. FCC appreciates it.
It's like,
Hey, got to reach those listeners out in the bluffs.
I got nothing against the Bluffs.
You never know.
Got to go
never
across
know.
the river. Get that casino money, you know what I'm saying?
No.
That's right.
Before we even talk about the topic of the day, which I haven't mentioned,
I mentioned it in the intro.
But that's okay.
God damn,
Thanks for listening.
I don't even remember.
Anyway, go ahead.
The beer.
Whatever.
Well, the beer in
yeah,
Iowa State just scored. So if you're following along with Iowa State and Oklahoma State, not that a game matters.
Oh my God.
The game that does matter, though, was Penn State, Maryland.
Was it? I've been out and about all day today. I'm not checking in on anything yet.
Penn State beat Maryland. So Maryland got Maryland's been upset. They were 5-0.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Good for them.
However, Iowa beat Minnesota. So we do a thing.
That's too bad.
We do the Big Ten Pick'em
Sorry,
Challenge.
Council Bluffs.
Hey, Iowa
they
won,
went
though,
that.
so.
Yeah.
Well, we do a Big Ten challenge with you guys each week. Team Touchdown Tommy versus Team Q98.5, Pat
Right.
and JT. And this week it's going to be close.
It's going to be interesting.
If we won,
well,
we won the Penn State, but Tommy picked Minnesota, so somebody else picked Minnesota too, and I don't remember who it was. So it might be all
I think it
even.
might have been me.
So if it was
That'll be
you,
interesting.
that means we're all tied up.
But I did choose Purdue, and they're winning right now.
Are they?
Purdue is winning.
It's still
Okay.
the third quarter, so don't celebrate just yet, because I
Okay.
might have
That's
screwed
the
it
game.
up. He's going to turn it on right now.
That's the game we
All
got to
right,
find.
we'll get that one up there. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on
and
that.
this isn't a
Okay.
football or sports show, but all right, I got to find this. So Bailey,
If you're
can
in
take over.
Nebraska, let's put it this way: if you're in Nebraska, everything's kind of a football show.
Yeah, that's true. Regardless, you could be
not
like, we're going to talk about
inappropriate.
celebrities. So, Did you hear about iCourse?
There you go. There you go. So, yeah, so it's okay. And with no Husker game this weekend.
Yeah, we have to watch other people's games, and that's just depressing.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
What is the mascot for, is it Iowa? What is
Hawkeye?
it? No, the trophy. The Iowa, Minnesota. Was there a little
it's the
piggy?
pig.
It's a
the
pig, yeah.
What's his
I
name?
forgot what they call it, though.
It was
Folly?
cute. I would like a pig trophy.
The pig?
I can't remember. I'm
For
sure
like-
that pig didn't want to go with either team, but I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's mean. There's no Huskers. So, all right. Well, he's trying to find the game here.
Yes, he is.
And while he's doing that, as you'd said, we have a show to discuss.
Yes, we do. So HBO just released the new series Westworld. What, last week?
Last week was the first episode.
And then they released the second episode early. It was announced on Thursday or Friday, which was crazy because they never do that.
I know, and I didn't get to see it. I didn't watch it. I've only watched the first episode.
It's intense.
But the first episode really triggered me. It was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I need to read up a little bit more on this because first off, it sounded really familiar. And the more I read up on it, then I realized I really do believe I'd seen the movie from the early 70s with Yul Brynner.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure that I have because the book came out in 73, Michael Crichton book. And the book, that first movie, very different. Not very different, but it is different from the series HBO is doing. So where do you want to start?
Oh, my God. Okay.
First of all, I didn't know it was Michael Crichton.
You didn't?
Was it? No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, this is, I mean,
I love Michael
when you
Crichton.
think about this, though, you can totally see where Jurassic Park came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, like, this whole...
Yeah, absolutely.
He had an
So-
idea about something. He definitely had an idea about something, but this just didn't get made into a movie. Well, it did, but it didn't get the treatment that they wanted to give it for a long
It
time.
needs a series.
Yeah.
So, quick little intro for it. Westworld isn't your typical amusement park. It's intended for rich vacationers who essentially are looked after by robotic hosts, and they get to live out their deepest, darkest fantasies, or maybe really nice fantasies. We don't know, but most of them go pretty terrible. And Westworld is based, as you said, on the 1973 Michael Crichton movie of the same name and features an all-star cast that includes Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins and Golden Globe winner Ed Harris,
Yes.
who is creepy.
What's her name? Rachel?
Evan Rachel Wood.
Rachel Wood. Also, there are several faces that are really familiar when you start watching it.
James Marsden,
Yes.
Thandie Newton, Shannon Woodward, who was on the, what is that show? I cannot even remember. Was it Raising Hope, maybe?
I'd have to look that up.
One of those.
That I don't know. But yeah, it does. It's got a great cast.
And the Hemsworth brother, the third
Yes.
Hemsworth
Is it
brother's in
Luke?
there. Luke, yeah.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. When I was reading up on it, the thing that the difference between this and that movie that was first made is that in the original there are 3 worlds. And there is Westworld,
Future World.
there is Medieval World, and there is, I believe, Roman World, which is like Pompeii.
Oh, no.
And that's all in one amusement park, all 3 worlds.
So it's like a creepy Disneyland.
So, yeah. And so, when they talk about in this, the androids are the players in this kind of like, well, when you're talking Jurassic Park, except they're all people and they're made to be as human as possible to enhance the experience for the guests who are the newcomers, the people that show up and visit the park. And you show up on a train, you're dressed in period clothing, and you immediately jump into your scene.
And all of the hosts have been programmed to have multiple interactions, like, so that way if somebody throws them off of the storyline that's been written for them, they know how to react, and they're not just like, does not compute.
Exactly.
What do I do?
Yeah, they have things that they respond to. Then there's a deeper level to this too. I mean, in the first episode, right off the bat, they introduce you to the quote deeper level. That what do they call him? The dark man?
The Man in Black, which is very ominous.
Which, did you hear the Johnny Cash music?
No, I
didn't
didn't.
notice that
That's
either.
brilliant.
That and
I heard Paint It Black.
Paint It
Yeah.
Black was during the shootout in that first episode and through that end. And then Johnny Cash, there was also a Johnny Cash song that was in it. And there's another one earlier in it
That's
too.
smart.
And the guy who does the music for it, same person that does Person of Interest, the TV show. And he wanted to use very modern music.
Oh, it's
it's a Western setting.
Ramen
Anwar
remember
or something?
Jawadi or something. But he also does Game of Thrones music as
There you
well.
go. So
He's
yeah,
wonderful.
and he used very modern music for something that was set in the West, but is set in the future.
Yeah.
It's in the future about the past, and then they're using modern music of this day in it. So it sticks to your, it grabbed my ear when you hear it, because you're like, that music doesn't fit. Why am I listening to Paint It Black?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never even noticed.
Just they snuck it in
did.
subconsciously.
Well, I'm
It
sure
works.
there's a lot of other things I didn't notice too.
It works.
What I really like about the show, though, too, is it really parallels the, like, when you're in the fantasy world, everything is bright. There's so many colors. And then you go to the real world where it's everybody behind this park, and it's sterile. It's black
dark.
and white.
Looks like a hospital.
It does.
Like a future
Yeah.
hospital.
It's
or
very
something.
creepy.
Yeah.
Scientific.
Very scientific.
That's where the science happens.
But it's these flashbacks. You can almost tell, too, like, because when it goes back and forth with the android hosts, and you're like, are they in the world right now, or are they in the real world?
Yeah.
And you can tell just by the coloring in the background.
where they were.
Yes.
Exactly. So part of this first episode, too, is also setting up whether or not there is a virus.
Ooh,
Something's
I
going
totally
wrong with
think
the
there
androids,
is.
Yeah.
but they're becoming so lifelike
Yep.
because, as I said, some of the androids were made by machines, so they don't even know how they're made. The people don't.
And then there's Dr. Ford, who is Anthony Hopkins, and he said that he likes making mistakes in them now because they've evolved to the point where they can't evolve anymore. So they're like, we're going to create
Havoc.
chaos.
Well, I actually
Chaos
thought,
in the beauty.
I thought Ed Harrison's character was the virus at first.
Yeah, and he's looking for
He might be.
the
We
deeper
don't
meaning,
know.
though.
I know. If we get into episode 2, are we talking about episode 2 or not?
You can go ahead. Don't worry, I'm not worried about spoilers. Because I haven't seen it
So
yet.
as of episode 2, we know Ed Harris is not a virus.
I don't know
Well,
if we do
let me rephrase
just
that.
yet.
It looks like he's not, but in the same sense, he is a longtime person, a comer to
He's a newcomer.
Westworld.
Yeah, he's a real person.
But I wasn't sure of that in the first one. He said he was been coming for 30 years, but it wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
But in the episode 2, it became very clear he was a guest that was coming to Westworld regularly for 30 years. The difference is in the second episode, he wants to stay in Westworld and he doesn't plan to ever leave again.
I still don't know if that's true, though, because, like, what if it's some creepy theory where, like, they
you talking about
built him to
Yeah.
make him think he's a guest?
What
Like,
about in the first episode where he scalped one of the other androids
Yeah.
and it has a map?
yeah.
Well,
on the
yeah.
scalp.
Well,
and
it's-
he's looking for something specific.
Well, he's looking for...
Yeah.
I hate to ruin it for hate to, like.
It's not gonna ruin it for me,
He's
trust me.
looking for a maze. So the scalp is a map. I'm assuming it's a map of a maze. And so
Yeah.
he's hunting down.
That's what it looked. I mean, they showed that in the first episode.
He's
they
looking
did.
for the location of this maze. I don't know what the
And
maze
that's-
is.
It's
I
the
don't know.
deeper game, whatever.
Yeah.
The creators have put another game within the game.
Another level. That's in
But
there, yeah.
I do think the virus is audibly triggered because, as you notice with the androids in these episodes, every time they have command prompts, they say, okay, 3, 2, 1, sleep, or they have a phrase that puts
Yeah.
them
Do you
in
notice a lot of them are Shakespearean?
yes. And that's
Romeo
the one
and
that
Juliet.
That's the one that I think is the virus. It's these violent delights lead to violent ends or
Violent
something
ends,
like
violent
that.
endings, yes.
And yeah, that's Romeo and Juliet. And no, these violent. God, oh my God.
Hold
What
on,
is
no,
it? These
I've got it.
violent
I think I grabbed it because that was
delights
one that these
have
violent delights have violent endings.
Yes. So that I think is the phrase that they're using to trigger these androids into
'Cause that's what
actually
he was-
remembering.
One of the or a pair of the characters, father-daughter. That's what the father whispered
Yep.
to his daughter.
And now
Then he was
she's, like,
decommissioned as the father and had to put a new one because supposedly he'd been infected. So now you wonder if she's infected.
Well, there's something to her.
yes.
I
Well,
think
and then
from even before the dad was infected or something, I think there was something with her.
she's the oldest host
She's
in
the
the park,
oldest, and even before we get to
Yeah.
episode 2,
which means she has the most memories
Yeah.
of things that people did to
well,
her.
Yeah.
we know, not that we know more, but we definitely know there's something weird with her in episode 2.
yes.
But in episode 1, even you can tell, like they made a big point to talk about her being the oldest and have the most memories and everything. So I'm assuming
And she'd been rebuilt so many times, she was like brand new.
brand new.
So you didn't have to worry about her.
I think
But
she's
her
our.
brain probably didn't change.
One of the quotes that stuck too is, "Soon this will feel like a distant dream. Until then, may you rest in a deep and dreamless slumber," which is one of the first phrases you hear, which is what the doctor says to his old cowboy friend, and then tells him to put himself
away.
which
Is a creepy scene.
which is basically he climbed into a body bag
And zipped himself
Zip himself up.
You can put yourself away again, won't you?
Yeah.
Is what he said to him. those are some of the phrases that another phrase too that you'll hear also is you can lose the accent, which is used more than once.
Yep.
Because
whenever the androids talk, they are like, well, howdy there. And then they're like, you can drop the accent. Okay, what shall we talk about now?
Yep. Bring her back online was another one.
I love how they said that Evan Rachel Wood was talking about how when she had to film the scene where she's sitting in the Stark room being questioned through analytics, and she's kind of staring off really creepily.
Mm-hmm.
She said what she did is she just stared at a little point on the wall and kind of like lost the focus where she was staring beyond her questioner. And it's really scary looking.
I got to say, all of them that play the androids, they're all brilliant as far as their acting, because they literally, it's like you can tell when they just like shut down.
Yep.
But they completely look like they're
so subtle.
Inanimate.
Yeah.
Well, whoever was playing the dad, I thought really was good at it. Like he even had a tear in his eye and everything at one point, like when he was going through it and they were questioning him, and I thought he was fabulous.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was thinking about that very thing, and I can't remember who it is that plays the dad.
He looked familiar, but he was fantastic at it.
Yeah, there are some.
Well, and then like with the fly on their face.
Okay, explain that. Yeah,
okay.
Explain that, because there at the beginning is something about wouldn't even hurt a fly.
It starts in the very beginning. You see a fly climb onto Evan Rachel Wood's eye, and
this is when she's powered down.
Yes. And so then again, you see it in the park when Teddy, who's played by James Marsden,
and when she says climbs on its eye,
like
on the eyeball.
On the eyeball. It's gross. But then, so James Marsden's character has one crawling around on his face, and he doesn't touch it. And then yet again, you see it on other people, and
on the sheriff.
Yes,
when they were out on they were doing a trail ride, and they came across some of the androids that were losing their minds, or whatever, and there was the fly on his face. And nobody swats the fly away.
So the idea is the programmers made it so they can't hurt anyone. They can't hurt even a fly. Well, then
what happened?
The very end of the episode, you see Evan Rachel Wood's Dolores back out in the park, and she smacks the fly, and you're like, oh,
just nonchalantly,
no,
just smacks it.
But you know, and that's the closing part of the episode.
Yeah. Then you know things have changed, and she's been changed,
or has she been changed all along? Oh, we don't know these theories.
This is really interesting.
Well, you know, there's something going on with who is it? Bernard Lowe.
Yes.
So Jeffrey Wright's character.
Yes,
he's a programmer. He's a programmer, and there's clearly something between him and Dolores that we see in episode 2, but it doesn't tell us anything.
No,
all we know is there's a relationship outside of everything else between those two.
I like at the very beginning when the programmers were sitting there with, she was one of the
one of the prostitutes,
one of the hookers.
The hookers.
But she worked at the saloon. But she's sitting there, and they were just observing, because when they're having broke down, they're completely naked. They're just in their natural state.
Yep,
and they're almost powered down. It's like they're on conserve. They just answer questions. They sit there. They don't make any moves. And talking to one of the girls, and she was attracted to her and kissed her.
That was very interesting.
Even
I don't know what they were doing with that or not, but
they're attracted to him.
They're so lifelike.
I think the point of that, though, was remember how they were talking about the reveries, which was what the doctor was putting in to make them more realistic.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the thing was like she was reacting because she was like, she feels so real. Like I'm seduced by her. Mm-hmm. But you know something's going to happen.
Look up Louis. Is it Louis or Louis Hertham?
Louis
Hertham, Herthum.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's the dad.
That's the dad.
Oh.
That's the guy who played the dad, Peter Abernathy, and Dolores' dad, at least through the first episode.
He's been in a lot of scary movies. I feel like that was purposeful.
He looks familiar.
He does look familiar. He was in Revenge, for those that watched ABC Revenge.
Oh, he was on True Blood.
He was on True Detective. He did.
Was he on True Detective?
He's super
for an episode,
recognizable. Yeah, he's one of those guys. The kind of star I'd want to be if I was in Hollywood being a star. Nobody knows my name, but I'm in everything.
CSI New York, CSI Miami.
Heck yeah.
NCIS.
These are like all your favorite shows. That's why.
The Mentalist.
That's why I know who he is. I know him, but I don't know him. He's in everything, but you don't know his name.
He is literally in everything.
He's a character actor.
Wow.
So, okay. Going back in, what do you think is the overall plan for the show? Like, what do you think the story is about?
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think what it's going to end up being is about man and machine. I think it's going to be a machine taking over for man. And you think this is written in 1973, and that was kind of the way they saw the future at that time, was that you were going to have the artificial intelligence would exceed man's expectations and then would surpass their abilities. And then they would be in charge.
Siri, are you going to be in charge?
I know. And I think they set it up like the one phrase when they said, some of these droids were even made by other machines.
Yeah.
So some of the droids made droids, and the humans don't even know how they're made. So they don't even know how they work. So they were created by their creation, and so they don't even know how they work. That was kind of a clue too. I think that's where it's headed for. I don't know.
What do you think?
I don't think it'll get that far though.
Well, it does. There
it'll
are going to be
implode.
5 seasons.
Yeah,
They've built out 5.
I think it'll lean down that path, but I don't think if they take it to the Terminator level, like, then we're just going to say, okay, this is ridiculous. This is like, they could, I guess. It depends how they do it. I think there will absolutely be conflict between the two, but I don't know if we'll see like full-fledged like human versus android.
Do you think we'll see it'll be violent?
I do.
Because there was the violent shootout that we had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In this episode, if there's going to be more
do.
violence, or is it going to be more
and that leads me
suppression?
into what I think some of this is about too. I think this is actually a commentary on entertainment, because they make such a big deal about this one writer who's trying to deal with the narrative and like giving the experience, and it's weird because like,
and he's flaky, isn't he?
he is he's creepy and he's like,
to explain who he is, he's the one that creates all the storylines.
Yeah.
And he's really out there, high energy, explosive, as opposed to every other person who all seem to be really under control and almost understated. And he is so...
And he's questioning management, and there's something going on here.
Do you think he's part of the problem? Who... Is it just the doctor, or is it the doctor and his assistant that do as far as implanting their personalities or their storylines or et cetera?
A lot of them do, because I think in episode 2 they mentioned that you could tell from within the company everybody was kind of toying with these things, because they're like, those fuckers down in
narrative or whatever.
Messed it up, and they bumped up the aggression.
So it seems like the programming is handled by several teams.
Yeah.
A lot of chefs in the kitchen.
But where you're going, I think there's going to be more Anthony. I think there's going to be a movement for humans to populate with these in coherence, and then there will be a movement against that. So I don't think it'll be androids versus humans. I think we'll see androids on both sides.
Okay, do you think this is going to...
That's good.
That's what I
It could
think
be
is going.
So I'm wondering if this is also a commentary, considering this book was released in 1973 when it first came out. Is there a commentary or a mirroring of racial relations?
There's definitely like a slave rebellion aspect to this.
There is. I mean, there's going to be, and you have to wonder, there's going to be some on both sides. There's going to be, what I want to say, members from each team will be on both teams.
Yeah.
Where they're divided by android human, they'll also be divided by right and wrong.
Yeah.
So there'll be some on both sides.
Oh, yeah. Especially because you look at the look ahead previews, and there's kind of a suggestion of that, because I think it's the doctor's character asks Dolores, if you could write your own story, would you be the hero or the villain? And it's like, that implies consciousness.
Yeah. And they kind of implied that, though, when they said that all of it's still in there, all of their memories, even though they're wiped clean, if they're put into a new character, they're supposedly, it's overwritten.
They're just not told to access those files.
Right. Which is another phrase that they use, too, which is another phrase. Can you access your narrative? Can you access your previous narrative? And ask them to do that and download it.
And in episode 2, the one guy asks Dolores to delete their encounter.
Yeah.
So he's hiding something, but we don't know what.
I think Anthony Hopkins' character dies at the end of the season 1. I think
he's going to be the Ned Stark.
I think he dies.
What?
And I think the whole storyline is
and somebody evil takes over?
No,
Okay.
I think he's trying to live forever. And so I think he is trying to take his consciousness and put it in that.
It.
In episode 2, he's walking with a little boy.
Yes.
I think that little boy is him at a younger age. And I think he is trying to download his conscious. And at some point.
Is the little boy droid?
Yes.
We don't know.
We think.
There's...
Well, he's droid, because at the one point he says, go away, and he drops his stick, and he kind of...
But I still don't know, because remember he was talking about like magic, and it's getting weird, and I love it.
Oh, my God.
He is trying to set himself up for the next life.
Okay, throw this out here, because that's always been the next thing with the artificial intelligence, is being able to download your memories and being able to continue on.
It's like that Transcendence movie with
Access 'em.
Johnny Depp, which was really terrible.
I never did see
But
that
good,
movie, but
yeah.
it's the same concept.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah.
exactly,
I think
yeah.
that's where they're going with this. Is Anthony Hopkins' character? He will pass away.
The body passes away, but
The
he
body,
wants to keep
he
living.
will take the rest of his consciousness and everything, transfer that over, and at some point, the other guy, the other doctor, what did I just say his name was? Bernard, something. Yeah. I think he's the only guy that's kind of in the mix around what's going to happen,
knows.
and he is going to enable or do whatever it is or trigger that bug that will allow for a certain amount of those to kind of.
That the doctor can move on and live forever.
Because
Yeah,
Anthony
that would
Hopkins,
make
in
sense.
episode 2, Anthony Hopkins, so the guy that writes all the narratives, what you don't know, the guy who writes all the narrative comes up with this new storyline, this new big adventure. And then Anthony Hopkins says, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, because he's like, you're doing what you think they want to
Yeah.
play, but
Yeah.
I'm working on a greater game. And it's like, oh, this is tying in
And
with the
this-
Man in Black.
It's something
This right here,
secretive.
exactly. That's the thing. That's what he's looking for.
And it's something
Yeah,
secretive.
that comes
and-
right back around to him because, if he is a newcomer, if he seriously is an outsider that comes in to this,
I almost
and he has his
wonder-
suspicions that something else is being done here.
I almost wonder if he was like a former programmer with the park, and now he's like coming back to like mess with the game, and so Hopkins has to like
I don't know.
He's
tweak
probably
the game.
Yeah.
Because it's like, is he a host?
just
Is
don't be
he-
brothers. Like I hate when they all of a sudden they're
No,
brothers,
it
right?
wouldn't-
Like,
Please.
right, every show, it's like all of a sudden the bad guy, and the main guy, like
Yeah.
they're brothers.
You couldn't have Sir Anthony Hopkins with his nice
No,
little
no,
accent
no.
be with like Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
But I
now,
also-
didn't Ed Harris run into Dolores?
Yes.
Yeah, in episode 1.
In episode 1.
And he was like,
on the
"You
streets.
remember me?" And she was like, "Nope,
And
I
he's
do
like-
not."
Because it was from a different
Yeah.
scene,
Encounter.
a different scenario.
And she
Is where
doesn't remember.
She doesn't know who he is.
But now she might.
Ah.
There. Yep. Watch episode
like
2
this.
because
I'm
there's
going to.
something that.
I will do that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're going to start intertwining these storylines. Well, I think they'll actually start breaking out more storylines, right? And
This
we'll-
was the mass introduction.
we won't know about Ed Harris and what his purpose is probably until season 2 or something
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Not
Like,
even
they'll-
that. They'll probably be like season 4.
Yeah, they'll drag.
make us hang on.
He'll just keep killing people and.
Yeah, I will, and I will say the one thing that I hope most for the show is that it doesn't get lost.
Oh,
As
seriously.
in the show Lost. I hope they already have an ending figured out.
As long as they're not a smoke monster, we're good.
No
And I
polar
said-
bears, no smoke monsters.
J.J. Abrams around it, and I usually say he does good stuff, but in the same sense, he also was in charge of Lost.
He has some real stinkers. I mean, though he plays
that's-
big. He plays big, and so you lose big.
Well, when you play
You know?
with the networks like
Yeah.
ABC, you lose control. Right?
Whereas
so a certain
HBO
amount of control.
Yeah.
You HBO don't give two shits about the rating, like the viewerships, right?
And he
like
didn't
the-
have the clout that he
Oh.
does now.
Dude just
when he
made-
did
yeah.
Lost.
He
They
can-
couldn't screw with
He
him
was
like that now.
green.
Yeah.
He was very green.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
Agreed.
he's gonna be pushed around with ABC, NBC, all those guys. Those
But
guys,
this HBO gave him.
Go.
This is their biggest budget show they've ever made.
until
and
what?
what?
Until
Yeah.
when? What's
We don't know what's next, but
the new Star Wars show? When that comes out,
Maybe.
that will by far.
Possibly.
That
this
will by
also
far
broke
crush.
the HBO record
I was
for
gonna
most
say.
viewers.
Yeah.
So it's like when they came out and said we have 5 seasons, we're ready to go. It's like, wow, aren't we being bold?
Well-
no,
But
they
you know what
know.
that allowed to? That allowed the people that were going to watch it. It allowed you to invest yourself
That's true.
because you know
Yeah.
there's 5 seasons there. I'm going to get to see it no matter what because I guarantee if they don't show it on HBO, it's going on Netflix.
Yeah.
And HBO isn't going to want to give that up, so HBO is going to have it. So I know I'm going to get to see 5 seasons.
Yes.
So I'm allowed to invest. I can get invested, and now I can care.
I just
Because
hope it
that's
doesn't
what always
pull like
makes me
True
mad.
Detective. Please, like if it's great the first season and then the second one, you're like, oh no,
Second one wasn't horrible.
it wasn't bad, but you're like,
But
the first one was so good.
First one was so surprising.
I don't know.
I think that's true. That's hard to come back with that. It's like that first potato chip, man.
But I
Second
think-
one's never as good.
Or fry.
Never.
No, that's a
Never
lie.
is
All the
good.
fries are good.
Again, if anybody knows how to live up to that expectation, it's J.J. Abrams. Dude did Star Wars. Like,
I suppose so.
You does-
But he
Doesn't-
also
Yeah.
did Star Trek.
which yes,
Yeah.
there was a lot. There's high expectations there, but there's nothing like making the next Star Wars movie.
That's true.
No, I mean, God, the stress
This
and
is
pressure
good.
of that.
Yeah. This
Now,
is
if they can keep it going like Game of Thrones, keep it fresh. That's why I think they also kill off Anthony Hopkins' character, right? Like they have to, they got to keep people
that's
pondering.
going to be.
And like,
That's a big piece of the pie. That's a big key, and that I think they will hang on to it for a while. before it happens?
I think they chop people.
Oh, jeez.
I could be totally wrong.
I mean, they do have a giant cast, so
giant cast.
They could.
And they're bound to bring more people on, right? More people come to the park.
every time.
And they'll keep building on it.
More people who come to the park and mess with other things.
I mean, let's face it. Game of Thrones laid the foundation for this, and that's why they can do 5 seasons. That's why that's all the
Game
hype.
of Thrones, though, this was already in the making before Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
This was there.
Yeah,
Crichton
but-
was just sitting there like,
oh
But
my
the difference-
gosh, they had it and they had the plan for it. They knew what they wanted to do.
The
and it was-
difference, though, is Game of Thrones. They can come out and say, we're going to do 5 seasons, and they know they'll have the viewership, and they know all that because of what Game of Thrones has done.
That's true.
Yeah, they were out there first. They were out there first, but they weren't there first. And I think
you're right.
I think they probably gained a lot of strength from knowing this is out there and this is coming. You got to figure this is 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
That they've been wanting to do this, and nobody would let
They've
them
just
do
been
this.
sitting on it.
They make
like
one movie,
day.
one movie in 75. And that's it. You got Yul Brynner movie, and Michael Crichton's like, "Oh my God, you got to be kidding me! I need this. I need more." So finally, they're going to get to do what he's wanted to do, and we have the technology to do it better than they could have
We
ever
can
done
rebuild him.
it. Exactly, right?
Oh my gosh.
If that wasn't already taken, they'd use
They
it.
should use it.
They should, just for fun.
Not to
hope
mention
they
the
do.
animation in this is really good too. I know we're about done, but like, goddamn, when they're showing like that, when they're showing the threads,
Building
being,
Oh yeah, building
yeah.
them. Very good.
Well, yeah. And the opening titles, just beautiful every time.
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched the opening titles?
No, it's
Watch
like
it.
10 minutes.
But like it's
Garrett-
before the episode.
Oh,
How
it's
do you
I have my ways. I don't watch
Called
that.
Fast forward.
Oh my god.
I get over that.
Okay, watch it once.
I've never seen Game of Thrones opening. I've never
What?
seen
Oh my god,
Black
Dan.
Sails
what?
opening.
I have True
I've
Blood's opening memorized.
No, I've never seen it. What were we in? 6 seasons of Game of Thrones now? I've never seen the opening.
Their opening is amazing and it tells you where they're gonna be.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
Somebody
I mean,
out
I've
there-
seen it at high
somebody-
speed.
I'm just going to say somebody out there worked really hard.
Yes, they
really
did.
hard on that.
If
And
they-
you
It is an
are giving them nothing.
Emmy-winning opening credit scene.
If they would have put it at the end, I might have sat around and watched it once.
Get out.
But give me a break. Why do we need these 3-minute, 4-minute openings? They're ridiculous.
Because they're beautiful.
they're absolutely
It's art.
okay. Wait.
Art.
If you did it for the first episode to get all the credits out and say, here's all the special people, and then stop boring me with 3-4 minutes of this slow picture by picture frame, and the music is so
Usually, they're anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes.
I call that a get up, go to the bathroom, and make some popcorn time.
Why even do you go to the bathroom before you hit start?
Oh, geez.
No, I do not. I have a tiny bladder. We
This is
we
ridiculous.
discussed this.
Oh.
And on that note, yeah. Okay.
Enough already.
Okay.
Another game. Yes. So last week we came up with a game called Versus, and we essentially are discussing a person, a mascot, a concept
Okay.
in a situation where, like, who would kick the other's ass?
Like Illinois kicking Purdue's. Anyway.
Oh,
They're not-
no.
it's 2 points. It's not, and we're only in the third. When you said it
Oh,
earlier,
God, I
you made
picked
me.
it.
You made me think the game was over almost.
No.
We got plenty of time. All right, so we're arguing the pros and cons. Well, each person's arguing the pros of something
we're
while the others
essentially
are. Okay.
personifying this time because
gosh.
these are not real people.
Okay.
This
But
is a little bit of a challenge, actually.
this one's
Okay.
going to be good. It's liquor versus beer versus wine.
Awesome.
Do you know how I
JT
spell liquor?
has liquor,
Yes, I do.
Dan has beer, and I have wine.
Okay. Not
So-
W-H-I-N-E? Wine?
How do you
Oh,
spell?
okay.
No, no. How do you spell
Okay.
liquor, though? Ha, ha,
12?
Wait,
I
let me get my
I am
timer.
absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
my God. All right, so show me how this is
Just
done.
think how many times my wife has
Okay.
heard that.
Oh, my God.
Joke.
So, like
You
last
have
time,
a wife. That just blows me away.
It's like, it's-
Go ahead.
last time we were talking Darth Vader versus Lord Voldemort, and so we had situations where he was like, okay, well, he can do like the Force choke, and I was like, well, Lord Voldemort has magic. So essentially, picture your alcohol as like a person or an army.
Okay.
What would their strengths be based on personal experience with these things?
Okay.
So
Where do you want to start?
well, I will just tell you, since
You are
I'm beer,
Let's hear it.
and I've got
in a fight,
almost
remember, in a fight.
Oh, we're in a fight.
Yes, that's the whole point of Versus. It's fighting. Fisticuffs.
Oh, I was thinking drunk.
No.
Or
It's winning.
Who would win in the fight?
well, let's face it. Beer's going to bring the light guys, and they're going to bring the heavy. So we have the diversification to handle whatever you guys have.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Drop mic.
Drop mic. I would say that wine has more diversity than beer because you can grow it in tons of different countries.
Cheerios.
So you've got all these different experiences and fighting styles coming together.
This is
But
true.
we
But
Oh,
alcohol.
She's got the liquor.
I'm just going to say alcohol, I think, has more tricks in the bag because they can mix with anybody. They have a lot of friends that they can bring to the party
The liquor
that can
does
work with
have.
them.
Yeah, see, this is where
So-
she benefits.
You've got,
But-
you can just work with water, or you can work with bubbly water, or you can work with cola, or you can be straight up on ice.
You can't mix beer with a lot of things there, Dan.
no, but with alcohol, she's going to come out strong.
Unless it's
She's going to
alcohol.
come out strong.
Unless it's
This is all
alcohol.
alcohol.
Well, liquor, hard liquor, vodka, right?
Or
She's
tequila.
tequila.
Or whiskey.
They're going to come out strong, swinging, but it's just a matter of time before they even forget why they're
No,
fighting.
no.
And
That's
they're
why
done.
you have tall boys, and that's why you have
Well, Tall Boys
on
is
the
in mine,
rocks.
right? Like
no. That's what I'm saying.
Well-
You can mix them tall.
we bring the guys from the hood, right? We have Colt 45, we have 8 Ball. Like we'll roll in gangster style.
Oh my God. Colt 45 rolling in. That's
Yeah, there you
terrifying.
go.
Hey,
We can go either straight up one shot, that's it, or we can just bring it.
can we
bring
at
the
least
bottle.
can we at least agree that wine is probably not going to get its hands dirty?
Oh, definitely not.
Not gonna get his
Wine
hands dirty.
is so classy that it's sitting back watching liquor and beer fight it out and like, oh, I'll take care of this later.
The only wine that's getting involved in any type of
I'll tell you what the problem with wine
conflict
is.
boons.
Wine's too nice, and it hurts.
I
you
don't
later.
know. Have you seen the people who drink wine?
I'm going to say wine is super nice because it doesn't have this aggressive nature to it as beer. Belch.
That's true.
Slam. Crush the can on my head. I'm beer. Okay, wine is sweet, except for wine sometimes in a box. We
It's
understand,
also
but
the smart person.
And it sneaks up on
Until
you.
the next day. And the next day you'll regret it all.
Yes, wine hangovers are the worst.
So see, you'll regret not being
See,
in.
but that would mean like,
You're tough.
they're so tough. They're gonna get at you, and
the
they've got
beauty of
tannins.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. Another thing in the pro column for the liquor is more than likely you won't remember what the hell you did. If you do it
Liquor
right.
like
Whoa.
stabs
If you
someone.
do
Like,
it
what
right.
happened? Why am I bloody?
If you do it right.
The thing is with beer though, you got longevity. You have longevity.
So I
You-
don't have bad memories?
Liquor doesn't have longevity. I'll be hanging around for hours. Like, right?
Ooh, good.
We're here from the beginning to the end. Like
Oh
we're
my God.
good.
Meanwhile, wine's still up in the back. Like, no, look at that. They're fighting.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm going to call it a draw. I think there's a battle for each one of them that they can win.
I don't know. You know what?
I really do.
I might think that that liquor can hold out because you bring tequila into the mix.
Party's
and
over.
Well,
it's done.
And then you bring tequila with all his other
his other tequilas because
Oh
it's
my
never
God.
just one tequila.
two
It's like
tequila,
They're
10.
three
berserkers,
tequila,
right?
4.
The
I'm
hey,
just saying.
No. You know what liquor's like and tequila's like? Ronda Rousey, right? You're gonna get in the ring. You're gonna pound the crap out of everybody until you get into the ring with the wrong person, and then you're gonna go berserker because that's what she does. She goes right,
Yeah.
full blown berserker,
Berserker's
and then
not
Beer's
a
gonna
word.
hang out and
Stop
say
it.
like, "Hey, I'm gonna kick you in the
Berserker is
face and
not
knock
a
your teeth
word.
out," right?
Wine, meanwhile, is a housewife that hires someone to kill liquor and
Touche.
beer.
Wine wins. Like, that's the
Good
enough.
my gosh.
that's the best move.
Nice. Well done.
I mean, it really is a toss-up, though, here, because they would all ruin your day.
Well done.
Well,
Right.
let's face it. Everybody at this table is leaning one way right now.
We are all drinking beer at the moment. I think because when we started this, liquor seemed like a terrible idea.
Ooh, it's
Because
too early.
trying to record and just pound in
never know.
shots.
That show could happen.
You never know.
That
Oh,
show
God.
could happen.
Notes for show.
Like,
Vodka. I don't know what the concepts are, but just vodka.
what we need to
There you
do
go.
is just bring a list of ideas of things to talk about and drink, and just for like 2.5 hours, and then at the end of that, listen to that and we'll edit and just have.
Oh my God,
And
that'd
we'll
be
edit.
hilarious.
That's the key phrase, and we'll edit.
Yeah, well,
Heavily edit.
the end of that, whatever that comes out of that should be.
Because it would start out being like, oh, like giggles
Funny
and
guy.
fun stuff. And then
Yeah.
it'd be like, I will kill your face. And then in the end, it'd be like, we're best friends. I just want to take you home.
Oh my gosh. And that's why I drink alone. That's right there.
I know that song.
I would say that I would stay the same mostly. I just lose
Oh, I wouldn't.
lose my
Oh
cool.
my God.
Like,
I talk way
talk way
more.
too much.
Way more. Yeah, way more.
I get more critical of people. I'm like, why is your face that way?
I
That's
say
your beer.
things.
That's
yeah.
your beer
That's the
talking.
beer.
I say things. I judge people very quickly that I shouldn't. Right? Like I will say things. I'm like, ooh, I probably really didn't mean that, but it came out, so maybe I meant it.
Maybe they didn't hear me.
Meanwhile, Liquor is sitting there like, hey, you should go do karaoke. You can't sing, but do it. You can totally do it.
You know what I
Yeah.
want to see? I want to see Pat drunk.
Oh my God.
Is
I'm
that
gonna
even
tell you what-
possible?
No,
Is
I've
that even
seen it.
possible?
I've seen it.
You've
It's
seen
awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Pat
It's
is
been a
JT's
while.
partner, by
I
the
can't
way,
even
on the
imagine.
radio show.
Yeah. It's been a while since he got goofy. But
He would get
What?
goofy.
You know what's funny too is that's the reason why I bought Kinkies the other day. Because
For
of all
Pat?
people,
That's a hilarious name for an alcohol.
of all people,
Kinkies.
he bought Kinkies vodka, and I said, "Isn't that a chick vodka?"
He watches Real Housewives.
That's where he got it from.
Oh no.
And so he says, "Hey, $9 for it's like $9 a gallon or something, whatever it is. It's not really well. He got it on sale at Walgreens or something. I don't know what he did, but that's not what it cost me when I bought it. Trust me. But I think he's lying. But anyway, he bought the big bottle of Kinkies, and somebody said something. I didn't know you drank. You don't drink. And he says, walk by the fridge, have a pull once in a while. I'm like, oh, I see how you are. You've got teenagers.
That's such a dad thing.
He's
Do you
got
do that,
teenagers.
Dan?
Do I? No,
You don't take a poll? Everybody's got to take a poll.
I don't even know what a
But
poll is.
he brought
when you
up,
say that-
You just take a quick swig.
Take a drink
get
right
it.
out
I
of the
don't
fridge,
need-
set it
man.
down.
No.
Just take a drink, put it
It's
back
like
in the
drinking
fridge.
right out of the milk carton,
Exactly.
No.
except for alcohol.
That's
We'll
where
put-
the Kinkies came from. That's why I got it because of Pat. And so I decided, well, I'll give it a shot because,
He likes it. He takes pulls out of it.
I'll go see it. And then I found the drinks instead of the vodka. And because I don't really like flavored vodka. So, yeah, so I went with that. And that works kind of like grabbing a Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
And it's just
Oh,
Kinkies.
God.
I like
And
Mike's.
Mike's gives me heartburn.
They're too
You ever
sugary.
tried Henry's?
No.
Do you like orange pop?
No.
Oh, my God. Orange pop is one of my favorites.
Kel loves orange soda, though.
Well, then try Henry's orange.
Anybody remember that? Huh?
No.
Keenan and Kel from Nickelodeon?
No.
It's where
No.
Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell got their start.
No.
I did not know that.
Kel loves orange
I
soda.
don't know who Kel is.
Oh, my God. I'm such a
I don't
millennial.
know who that is.
90s
Anyway.
Nickelodeon.
Well, in the 90s, I wasn't watching Nickelodeon.
Hardcore was watching. I at least was watching like Saturday night Nickelodeon where I was like, I'm old enough to stay up.
It's 13. Yeah,
Yeah.
over 13.
I won't say what I was doing in the 90s. It definitely wasn't
Drinking
Nickelodeon.
Colt 45.
Yeah, it was cool.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
Good deal.
very different time. Very
Oh,
different
my
time.
God. All right.
All right, guys.
This has been fun.
It has been fun.
I killed my beer too. Look at
I
that.
killed a couple.
I'm not surprised.
I got one more to go, and then it's Alice Cooper.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
I'm
in
going to
Omaha
drink
tonight.
more, so
You should. I am too.
I'm going to smoke cigars and drink.
Oh, I won't smoke. Oh, it tastes like shit the next day.
It does.
Trying to
I
think, what
wake
am I-
up and I'm
yeah.
like, why do I do this?
I know.
But it's so good at the moment.
At the moment.
Because you have your little whiskey and you're like, oh, I'm
And see,
classy
that's-
as shit.
and see that right there? That's what liquor does to you.
Ooh, she
See?
closed that
She did.
argument.
There you go.
Liquor wins.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Are we done?
Yeah.
I think
Are we
we're
done? Okay.
I think we're done.
Strike up the band.
Strike them up.
The chorus is back there.
Nice. Nice. Thanks for waiting on us. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, please go over to iTunes and subscribe. And while you're there, we would greatly appreciate a review.
4 stars or more. Otherwise, get out.
Oh, wow.
Real low. Sorry. We're also available on SoundCloud, Google Play, YouTube, and wherever else you want to go get your podcast. And you can find us over at Twitter at any given sat.
What?
Not sun. Sat.
Saturday's too long, so you got to shorten it. I'm at fan named Dan on Twitter, and
I'm at Bales of Hemp.
Very nice.
JT, what
Oh,
are
yeah.
you at?
JT on Q.
That's so easy.
I know hers is very short and sweet.
JT
You know what the
on
funny
cue.
thing? Every time I try to Twitter you, I always twit you.
Twitter you.
Whenever I try
tweet.
to
Tweet is the verb.
3
It's okay,
beers.
Grandpa. Go ahead.
I always put Q first, and I can never find you. I always go Q. Q.
JT. Q something.
JT on cue.
Oh, and don't forget, we also have a Facebook page.
Oh, that we haven't done a lot with yet.
We're
But we
getting
do
there.
have one.
Come like us. We are sharing things.
Something will happen mysterious there,
Eventually.
like Westworld.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week. Hope you'll join us again. I am Dan Powers, and
I'm Bailey Hemphill.
thank you to our special guest, JT. Come back again.
Awesome.
She's like, never.
She's like, we argued enough. That's
Never.
no.
All right. Well done.
More beer. More wine. More liquor.
Ooh, Black Sails. I think of this, and I've seen all the previews, and I watched that thing about Black Sails
Yeah.
back in January, though. So I want to see it again because it's the final season, but I'm in no hurry to get to January. But we get Long John Silvers. Silvers?
Long John
That's plural.
Silver?
That's plural.
So say, you're talking about the restaurant?
Silvers.